The sterile fluorescent lights of the lecture hall hummed overhead. Miles Carter moved through the rows of empty seats, collecting abandoned coffee cups and forgotten notebooks. This was his routine. At Winthrop University, he was background noise, a utility player in the grand theater of campus life. He knew his place. Until the night of the fall gala. The air in the grand ballroom was thick with perfume and ambition. Crystal chandeliers scattered light across the sea of tuxedos and silk. Miles was circling with a tray, part of the scenery, when he saw it happen. Leo Sterling, the undisputed center of gravity in any room he entered, stood near a marble column. Across from him, Oliver Shaw, the scholarship student who had become a campus curiosity, stumbled. The glass in Oliver's hand tipped, sending a dark rivulet of wine down the front of Leo's pristine white shirt. A hush fell over their immediate vicinity. Oliver lifted his chin, a defiant gleam in his eyes, meeting Leo's icy gaze without flinching. Miles felt the familiar, unwelcome pull in his chest, the compulsion to speak lines that weren't his own. The words formed on his tongue, automatic and hollow. "Oh my God," he murmured, not too loud, just as he was supposed to. "They're going to kiss. Is Leo falling for him too?" Then something shifted. Leo's head turned, his dark eyes scanning the crowd before locking onto Miles with unnerving precision. A slow, sharp-edged smile spread across his face. He abandoned Oliver completely. Leo's steps were measured as he closed the distance. "You sound thrilled by the idea," he said. His voice a low vibration that cut through the murmured gossip. "Want a demonstration?" Before Miles could process the deviation, before he could even think to step back, a strong hand cradled the back of his head. Leo leaned in, and his mouth was on Miles's. The contact was brief, shockingly warm, and utterly public. A collective gasp rippled through the crowd. Miles's mind went blank, then screamed with static. This wasn't in the script. Later, in the silence of his dorm room, the world snapped into a new, terrifying focus. He wasn't just Miles Carter, diligent student and part-time everything. He was a non-player character in a story titled Elite Hearts. The narrative centered on Oliver Shaw and the four kings of Winthrop's social scene: Leo Sterling, Alexander Pierce, Julian Thorne, and Noah Wright. Oliver, with his fiery independence, was meant to challenge them, intrigue them, and eventually enchant them all. And Miles? He was set dressing. A programmed extra who cheered, gossiped, and swooned on cue to make the main characters shine brighter. He groaned, dropping his face into his hands. It explained so much. The inexplicable obsession, the hours spent in fan forums he'd somehow become a moderator for, the loss of his own desires whenever the so-called kings were near. He had a life. He had engineering midterms. He didn't want to spend it obsessing over other people's dramas. His phone buzzed with a notification from the Leo Sterling Appreciation Society group chat. He tossed the device onto his bed. Information overload. He needed sleep. From now on, he decided, pulling the covers over his head, he was staying far away from all of them. Sleep brought a strange, vivid dream. An endless white space. A small, glowing figure resembling a cartoon fairy zipped into view, then bonked itself against his forehead. "What is wrong with you?" It squeaked, its voice like a disgruntled child. "You cannot be uncontrolled." Miles rubbed his head, feeling no pain. "What are you?" "I am a system moderator for the Elite Hearts narrative domain." It huffed, darting in agitated circles around him. "You are an NPC. Self-awareness is not permitted. You must follow the plot." Miles crossed his arms. "Why should I? The stability is at risk. It must be done." "No, I'm done." After a long stalemate, the creature floated before his eyes, its tiny face stern. "Compromise, then. Your world's currency. Perform your designated actions correctly, and you will be compensated for each completed task." Miles scoffed. "I'm not that shallow. $10,000. Per task." Miles paused. His family was comfortable, but Winthrop's tuition was a constant weight on his parents. This could help. A lot. Deal. The dream felt hyper-real. Waking, he remembered every detail. He decided to test it. The next morning, the familiar roar of high-performance engines echoed through the main quad. Miles, walking to class, turned with the rest of the crowd. For sleek sports cars, each a different shade, sped past. On instinct, his face lit up with practiced admiration. Wow, Leo's new Lamborghini. That matte blue is insane. The compulsion eased. Okay, easy enough. In his first lecture, checking his phone, he saw a bank alert for a $10,000 deposit. Instantaneous. A fierce, pragmatic determination settled in him. This could work. He became a model NPC. He snapped photos of the 4 men lounging near the old campus fountain, posting the group shot to a campus gossip feed with a caption about their good moods, and a solo shot of Leo to the fan group. The replies flooded in. Footsteps approached on the gravel path. He looked up to find Leo standing before him, all sharp angles and silent intensity under the dappled sunlight. Miles instinctively shrank back. Sorry, he mumbled, staring at his shoes. Please don't notice me. A deep, resonant voice broke the quiet. For what? For taking pictures without asking. Miles handed his phone over without being asked. Leo scrolled through the gallery, his expression unreadable. He paused, a faint flicker of something crossing his features. You're not bad with a camera. A spark of pride cut through Miles's anxiety. He'd spent a long time honing that skill. Leo returned the phone. Don't do it again. But he didn't delete the photos. Miles nodded, eager to escape. Before he could, a clear voice rang out. What's going on here? Oliver Shaw marched over, placing himself between Miles and Leo, his expression one of righteous indignation. Does your family's money give you the right to harass people? He turned to Miles, eyes full of sympathetic fire. It's okay. You don't have to be afraid of him. Miles blinked. Was I being harassed? Leo's gaze never left Miles. Was I harassing you? Miles jolted into action, slipping out from behind Oliver to stand slightly closer to Leo. He lifted his chin, channeling his old fanboy persona. Leo wasn't doing anything wrong. Mind your own business. The look of utter betrayal that washed over Oliver's face was startling. He glared at them both, then stormed off, tossing a defiant look at the other 3 men by the fountain before disappearing. Miles felt a pang of confusion but pushed it aside. He offered Leo a quick, awkward smile. See you around. He hurried away, later announcing his retirement from photography in the group chats amidst a wave of digital mourning. It was a relief. The promised payments flowed steadily. Feeling flush, he decided to try the university's famed Skyline Bistro on the top floor of the library tower. The view of the city skyline was breathtaking. He was staring at the holographic menu, debating between a truffle-infused burger and seared scallops, when a voice spoke behind him. You picking a side, or just thinking really hard? Miles jumped, moving aside. Sorry. He finished his internal ritual of eeny, meeny, miny, mo and looked up to see Leo Sterling standing there. Miles's NPC programming kicked in a beat too late. Oh, Leo. Hi. Leo's mouth quirked. Buffering. Huh? He glanced at the menu. And my father isn't a monarch. Who started that prince thing? It's a popular term Miles offered weakly. Right? You ordering? Flustered, Miles selected the burger. As he reached for his wallet, Leo extended a card, tapping it against the reader. My treat. Consider it a thanks for the decent photos. Miles was left stammering as Leo walked toward the seating area. Sitting alone, eating the overpriced but delicious food, he had to admit Leo wasn't quite the aloof monster the stories made him out to be. Life continued. He performed his scripted reactions, now with a financial incentive. He only skipped when buried in thermodynamics problem sets. One afternoon in the library's history stacks, seeking a quiet corner, he overheard raised voices. Do you get some kind of thrill from tormenting people who can't fight back? Oliver's voice was tight with anger. A low, amused chuckle followed. You keep testing me, Oliver. There are consequences for that. It was Noah right. Miles tried to retreat but turned directly into Noah's path. Noah looked at him, recognition in his cool gaze. Pass it along. Oliver Shaw gets a yellow card. Miles stared. Was he a town crier now? Noah left without another word. Oliver emerged moments later, his eyes finding Miles. They burned with contempt. You're just their little errand boy, aren't you? Their lackey. Do you ever wonder what happens to people who play with fire? He spat the words before striding away. Miles leaned against a bookshelf, exhausted. He was definitely part of their game now, and he didn't know the rules. Soon, the news of Oliver's yellow card, a mark of social exile and restricted access, spread across campus. Miles was puzzled. In the story he now knew, Leo was supposed to issue that first card. The annual winter formal arrived. Miles attended, wearing a sharp navy suit, motivated by the potential for multiple high-value NPC moments. The event was a spectacle of light and music. When Leo, Alexander, Julian, and Noah made their entrance, the crowd erupted. Miles added his voice to the chorus. Later, he witnessed the inevitable collision. Oliver, holding a flute of sparkling cider, bumped into Leo. Liquid darkened the fabric of Leo's jacket. Oliver's jaw was set, his gaze defiant. You walked into me. Maybe watch where you're going. Leo's eyes narrowed. He took a half-step forward, then stopped, a flicker of confusion in his eyes. He seemed almost stuck. Miles, caught in the moment, whispered his line. He's going to kiss him. Is Leo actually interested? Leo's head snapped toward the sound. His eyes found Miles in the crowd. That sharp, dangerous smile returned. He crossed the floor with purpose. You seem invested, Leo murmured, the words for Miles alone. Want to see how it's done? The kiss was swift and sure, a firm pressure that short-circuited Miles's thoughts. The gasps around them sounded far away. This was wrong. All wrong. What's your name? Leo asked, pulling back slightly. I'm Miles. Miles Carter. Miles, Leo repeated as if testing it. Come with me. We need to talk. He led a shell-shocked Miles to a private lounge overlooking the city. Miles's mind raced. This scene didn't exist. Leo approached, and Miles instinctively covered his mouth. Leo almost smiled. My apologies. That was impulsive. It was my first kiss, Miles muttered. Was it? Leo raised an eyebrow. I thought you were a fan. Miles had no response. Leo studied him. Miles Carter. You're different. Different how? This world, Leo began, his voice dropping. It's not real. It's a construct. A story. Miles's breath hitched. You know? The word also gives you away. A triumphant gleam lit Leo's eyes. Inside Miles's mind, a tiny voice screamed. Critical error. System breach. I must report to the central narrative. Then silence. The little moderator was gone. Leo explained. He'd been aware of the narrative constraints for a while, forced to follow a script he despised. He'd discovered that proximity to Miles temporarily shattered those constraints. Miles was an anomaly. Be with me, Leo said straightforward. As my boyfriend. In return, I'll grant any reasonable request you have. He paused. I can't stand interacting with that delusional fool any longer. Miles was reeling. And if I say no, I don't issue playground penalties. But I'll ask again. A faint, real smile touched his lips.
I'm persistent.
After a lengthy negotiation, Miles agreed. He couldn't think of a demand, so Leo told him to name it later. He also mentioned a monthly allowance of significant size. Miles pretended to protest, but his heart sang. The next day, he moved into Leo's private townhouse on the edge of campus. They kept the relationship quiet, though the rumors about the corrective kissing at the formal were wild. The bed was incredibly soft. He was awoken by a knock on his door the next morning. Leo stood there already dressed. "You don't have an early class?" Miles yawned. "Nope. You'll miss breakfast." Leo's tone was light, but there was a softness there. "Get dressed. It's ready." The spread downstairs was impressive. As Leo left for his lecture, Miles called a casual goodbye from the couch. Leo turned back, a mock-stern look on his face. He walked over and gently pinched Miles's cheek. Shouldn't a boyfriend see his partner off properly? Miles thought for a second, then grinned. "Bye, honey." Leo's hand stilled. His ears turned pink. "Right. See you later." He left faster than before. Life assumed a new rhythm. Without the NPC duties, Miles felt lighter. He wasn't straight, and Leo, contrary to his ruthless reputation, was thoughtful, even dryly funny. This arrangement was more than agreeable. Oliver Shaw, however, became a persistent, bizarre specter. He'd trip on nothing near their table in the dining hall. He'd chastise them for standing too close to the campus pond's resident swans. He'd glare from adjacent tennis courts. Leo's strategy was a masterclass in indifference. One evening in the library, Miles was struggling with a research paper. Leo returned from the stacks with 2 books. "Found these. They might help." Miles looked up, a playful idea forming. "Doesn't a boyfriend have certain obligations?" Leo paused, then sat beside him. He pulled Miles close, tucking Miles's head against his shoulder. "You'll figure it out." "No ruse." His voice was a quiet rumble. Warmth flooded Miles's cheeks. "I was joking. I'm not." Leo didn't let go, and Miles found he didn't want him to. Soon they were sharing a room. Leo claimed he had less trouble with intrusive, script-like dreams when Miles was nearby. Miles believed him after the first night, when Leo looked more rested than he'd ever seen him. Their relationship, born from practicality, deepened with shared quiet moments. Their closeness became an open secret, sparking questions in the old group chats. One night, as Miles puzzled over how to respond, Leo leaned over his shoulder. "Ignoring me?" Miles showed him the screen. Leo took the phone, held it to his mouth, and recorded a voice message. "We're together. Any objections?" Miles snatched the phone back, a laugh bubbling up. "You're insane. You're the one still in that group." Leo's tone was fondly teasing, theatrical to the end. Miles deleted the app, the last tether to his old role snapping. He rolled over to face Leo. "You're very casual about this. You don't even like me that way." Leo's fingers gently brushed his cheek. His expression grew uncharacteristically somber. "Are you upset people know? Do you not want this?" "It's not that. You're you. People notice." Leo leaned closer, his voice dropping to a whisper. "Call me Prince again, and I'll make you my consort." Miles mock gasped, hands flying to his chest. "I'll have you know I am a man of dignity." Then Leo kissed him. It was different from the first, deep, claiming, full of a heat that had been banked for weeks. It left Miles breathless and wanting more. He leaned in, chasing the feeling, and was met with a fervor that swept everything else away. During finals week, they studied in a private library room. Miles, taking a break, asked about Leo's friends and their thoughts on Oliver. "I warned them. They find him tiresome. His attempts are painfully obvious." It was true. Oliver's behavior had grown increasingly erratic and bitter. That night, the system moderator returned in a dream, buzzing with irritation. The central narrative has identified the corruption. The primary love interest has been compromised by an external interloper. A hacker of sorts. The story integrity is forfeit. You are all free to proceed as you will. Farewell. The creature vanished for good. So Oliver wasn't just awakened. He'd been replaced by something else. It explained the venom. After finals, Miles spent more time at Leo's penthouse in the city. One evening, while Miles was out with friends, his phone rang. Miles. Leo's voice was strained, thick with a raw edge that Miles recognized intimately. Where are you? What's wrong? Someone spiked my drink. At the charity auction. A shaky breath. I need you. Now. Fear spiked through Miles. He got the hotel name and raced across town. Leo keeping him on the line, his words growing increasingly unfiltered, lush with desire and desperation. Miles's face burned the entire cab ride. He found the suite door unlocked. Leo was in the shower, sitting under a stream of cold water, clothes soaked through and plastered to his skin. His eyes, dark with need, found Miles. The night that followed was a blur of heat and urgency, a collision of want and relief. Afterward, Leo held him like he was the only solid thing in the world. The investigation pointed squarely at Oliver Shaw. The Sterling family's lawyers ensured he faced serious consequences, removing him from the board completely. The strange pressure, the last vestiges of the plot, seemed to lift from the air. Sometime later, Leo asked Miles to meet him at the Skyline Bistro. He was unusually solemn. A cold dread settled in Miles's stomach. Was this the end of their convenient arrangement? The entire restaurant was empty, the city lights glittering like a spilled galaxy below them. Leo turned to him, his usual confidence softened into something earnest. I owe you a proper beginning. He took Miles's hands. I love you, Miles Carter. Will you be with me? For real? As if on cue, fireworks erupted over the city skyline, painting the night in bursts of gold and crimson. The light danced across Leo's face, illuminating the sincere hope in his eyes. Miles felt a joy so profound it was almost painful. He nodded, his throat tight. Yes. He threw his arms around Leo, who held him with a strength that spoke of forever. The fireworks faded, leaving the quiet hum of the city and the steady moonlight wrapping around them. A perfect, uncharted beginning.